The woman who might have stalked herself. The Cindy James case. In my opinion, this is one of those rare cases where both explanations feel possible. Some evidence points towards severe psychological distress and self-staged attacks, but other details are genuinely difficult to explain as suicide. Even the coroner ultimately classified her death as an unknown event, not murder or suicide. For 7 years, a woman claimed someone was trying to kill her. Threatening phone calls, break-ins, fires, strangulations. Police spent over $1 million investigating her claims and found almost nothing. Then one day, she vanished. 2 weeks later, she was found dead, hogtied, drugged, and strangled. And to this day, nobody knows if Cindy James was murdered or if she spent years terrorizing herself. Welcome back to Morbid Mind, the channel where we dive into disturbing mysteries, unsolved crimes, and cases that refuse to make sense. Tonight's case is one of Canada's strangest unsolved deaths, Cindy James. Cindy James was a nurse living in Vancouver. Friends described her as caring, intelligent, and deeply compassionate. She worked with emotionally troubled children and seemed to live a fairly normal life. But in 1982, after separating from her husband, Dr. Roy Makepeace, everything changed. Not long after the separation, Cindy began receiving disturbing phone calls. Sometimes the caller whispered threats, other times there was only silence. Then the harassment escalated. She reported prowlers outside her home, porch lights smashed, dead cats appearing in her yard, threatening notes left behind, windows shattered, her phone lines cut. At first, police believed her, but as the years passed, things became increasingly bizarre. In January 1983, Cindy's friend arrived at her home and found her unconscious in the backyard with a nylon stocking wrapped tightly around her neck. Cindy claimed 2 men had attacked her and threatened to kill her family if she spoke to police. Doctors examined her, but investigators struggled to find evidence supporting the assault. Then, about a year later, another horrifying incident happened. A private investigator named Ozzy Caban, who Cindy hired because she felt police were failing her, rushed to her home after hearing strange noises over a walkie-talkie connection he'd given her. When he arrived, Cindy was lying unconscious on the floor. A knife had been driven through her hand. Beside her was a threatening note made from cut-out magazine letters that read, "Now you must die." Cindy claimed an intruder attacked her and injected her with something using a hypodermic needle. Doctors did find a needle mark on her arm, but no drugs were detected in her system. Over the next several years, the attacks continued. She claimed she was assaulted in a park by a man in a van. She reported fires at her home. She said she was being watched constantly. Police even conducted surveillance operations around her house and still never found a stalker. That's when investigators started wondering, was Cindy James actually being hunted? Or was she creating the attacks herself? Police begin to doubt her. The RCMP reportedly spent over $1 million investigating Cindy's claims over 7 years, yet no solid evidence of an attacker was ever found, and troubling details began surfacing. Cindy had struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. She was hospitalized after a prescription drug overdose in the mid-1980s. Some psychiatrists later suggested she may have suffered from severe personality disorders or trauma-related mental illness. Her own family later discovered hidden medications, syringes, and other suspicious items in her home after her death. Some investigators believed Cindy had become trapped in a psychological spiral, staging incidents for attention, protection, or because she genuinely believed someone was after her. But others weren't convinced, because some details were extremely hard to explain. On May 25th, 1989, Cindy disappeared. Her car was found abandoned at a shopping plaza, with groceries still inside. Blood was reportedly found on the driver's door, and items from her wallet were scattered underneath the vehicle. 2 weeks later, a municipal worker discovered her body behind an abandoned house in Richmond, British Columbia. The scene was horrifying. Cindy was found hogtied. A black nylon stocking was wrapped tightly around her neck. Toxicology reports later revealed massive amounts of morphine, diazepam, and flurazepam in her body, including roughly 10 times the lethal level of morphine. And this is where the mystery becomes almost impossible. Some experts believed the drugs would have incapacitated her quickly. So how could she tie herself up? How could she strangle herself? And why would she walk to an abandoned property to die?